What's up, y'all? It's your girl Sky Elise J, and I am back with another video. If you are new to my channel, hello and welcome. You picked a marvelous day to join me. If you are not already, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, girl, because what we do in here, we do big things in here, okay? We getting our mental health together, we taking care of ourselves, okay? We getting cute over here, we doing it all right? And if you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much for returning back to my channel. You are definitely part of the family. Love you lots, boo. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into today's video. So today's video, I'm going to be giving y'all a story time. This is a story time that I have been waiting to do forever, and I don't even know when I'm going to post this or if I'm going to post this, because I don't want to like look back in a few years and be like, dang, like, well, why was I telling all my business on the internet? You know what I'm saying? But I don't really take it as telling my business. It's really just giving insight or whatever. So like somebody who is in a similar situation to what I was in, or somebody who is way younger and might be about to be going through the same thing, they can kind of get some insight or whatever, because my story is kind of, you know, unique and not really the norm. Okay, so basically today I'm going to be telling y'all my teen mom story. Yes, I got pregnant or whatever when I was 19 years old. Yes sir, yes ma'am, I was pregnant out here. I couldn't even make it out my teens. Could not make it out my teens. Okay, like I had to get knocked up or whatever. So I'm just gonna tell y'all a story. Hopefully I don't leave anything out, because you know how brown people tell stories, you know what I'm saying? They get sidetracked or whatever. But so boom, here we go. All right, y'all, so as I said before, I did get pregnant when I was 19. So let me just start from the beginning. So basically my whole entire life, basically I grew up playing basketball. Okay, so ever since the age of 7 I grew up playing basketball. And if you're watching this, you don't know me personally, I'm 6'1". Okay, so it was kind of like, you know, what else am I gonna do with all these legs? You know, gotta put them to work. So I've been playing basketball since I was like 7 years old. So make a long story short, I got a full scholarship to go to college to play basketball, which was a big accomplishment or whatever, because I was following in my dad's footsteps. He was the first person in his family to even go to college, I think, and he got a full scholarship as well for basketball to go to his college, and he's on Hall of Fame. So, you know, I had some big size 15 shoes to fill. Okay, so when I went to college to play basketball or whatever, I don't even know if I'm gonna include the college I went to, because I don't want to, the people I'm gonna include in the story, I don't want to put their business out there or whatever. So I'm not gonna say the name of the college I went to, but I went to a D1 school and played basketball. So my freshman year, everything was going good. I was getting like accustomed to playing basketball or whatever. But when I tell you, at that time I was like so boy crazy, it was not even funny. Like, if you are watching this and you are, you know, a freshman in college, or you're transitioning from high school to college, please just lay off the boys, okay? Lay off the little grown boys, okay? Because listen, they're nothing but trouble and distractions, okay? So listen, going into my freshman year, me and my high school boyfriend had just broke up. So he literally broke up with me like 2 weeks after school had started, because I was acting crazy, which I did used to be acting crazy back then. I used to be real spoiled acting. So, you know, he broke up with me or whatever. So I was kind of like in shock, because I was like, who breaks up with me? Like, what the heck do you, like, who walks out of my life? Okay, like, I was just flabbergasted. Okay, so to say the least, 2 weeks into my freshman year of college, I was like, dang, like, I'm not used to this. I'm not used to not having no man. Like, my man just left me. I don't got nobody to talk to. Mind you, I have friends. Okay, but that, of course, to a boy crazy 18-year-old, that wasn't enough. I needed male attention. So I was being so thirsty, like all day, every day. All I would talk about was like, oh, I wish I had a boyfriend. I wish I had a boyfriend. Oh my God, I wish I had a boyfriend. I wish I had a boyfriend. And you know what they say? Be careful what you ask for, okay? Because I was just putting that out in the air, just being so desperate, just putting it out in the air. Every day I wanted a boyfriend. So one day, me and one of my friends back then, we had went to this other college that was like right up the street from the college I went to. So this college, it was a HBCU. Okay, so this college was jumping, and it had, you know, it was more cultured over there or whatever. So they was having a block party at that college, and me and my friend wanted to go to the block party. So we was planning on going to the block party all day, but she was on the track team, so she didn't get out of practice till like, let me say, she didn't get out of practice till like 6 or something. The block party was like over at 7. So by the time she got out of practice and got like dressed or whatever, the block party was over, and we wasn't even gonna go no more, but we was just like, we don't got nothing else to do, so let's just go over there. So we called the shuttle over to the other campus, to the other school or whatever, and of course it was over already, but it was still like people mingling around, people walking around over there. So we were just walking around, just chilling, walking around the campus or whatever. So finally, when we got done mingling, it wasn't really popping or nothing, so we went back to like the bus stop for the shuttle. So where the bus stop was happened to be right in front of the gym. Okay, so we just sitting at the bus stop, just chilling, waiting on the shuttle to come, and here comes who we know today as my baby daddy. He walks up. I'm sitting there just chilling with my friend or whatever, and he's going to the gym. And mind you, the bus stop is in front of the gym, so he's walking to the gym with his friends, and he's like, and mind you, like, I could tell that they're a little older because they don't look like no little boys. Like, and if they was some little boys, then there was some big little boys. Okay, these are some huge men's walking up. Okay, so him and his gang of friends walk up, and he's like, you waiting for the bus? That's what he said to me. Okay, so me being young and dumb, you know, thinking that's cute or whatever, that he just insulted me, I said, yeah, I am, but I got a car, you know, like all independent and stuff. So we chopping it up, whatever. Make a long story short, he asked me for my number. So I go to give him my number, right? This man pulls out, this was in 2014, y'all. This man pulls out a freaking flip phone. I don't think it was a flip phone. I think it was like one of them phones that we had like back in like 8th grade, like when touchscreens first came out. So it was like a phone, but it was like half this size, and then it just was like the whole phone was like a touchscreen. It had like 2 little buttons at the bottom. I'm trying to find a picture of the phone, but that phone was like as big as the palm of my hand. He pulls out this phone and he was like, don't mind my phone or whatever, you know, I'm old school, just put your number in it. And I was like, oh Lord. So I gave him my number, and of course, you know, he had to make sure that I wasn't giving him no fake number. So he like called me when he was there to make sure my phone rung. So then we both had each other's number at that point. So boom, me and my friend get on the bus or whatever, and we go back to our campus. So that was like on a Friday. It was like on a Thursday or a Friday. I think it was a Friday, if I'm not mistaken. So a few days go by, and it's like Sunday, and I'm chilling with that same friend, and my friend's like, hey, you know, remember that guy we met at the bus stop the other day? Did you ever text him? I don't know why she had to remind me of him, honestly. I don't know why she reminded me of him. But I was like, yeah. I said, yeah, what about him? And she was like, girl, you should hit him up or whatever, you know. And I was like, I totally forgot I had his number. So I was just like, whatever. And you know, I was desperate Debbie at the time. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna hit him up. So I texted him, right? And back then, mind you, I was 18. So I wasn't hip to game at the time. Like, I wasn't put on to game at the time. So I hit him up or whatever, and I'm like, hey, this is Sky or whatever. And he's like trying to play it all cool. He's like, oh, hey, what's up? How are you? Or whatever. So we talk, make a little small talk. So like about 3 or 4 exchanges of text messages goes by, and then he's like, send me a picture of you. or whatever, so I could save it in my phone. So I sent him a picture of me and he was like, oh, you know, compliment me or whatever, yada yada yada. So I asked him to send him no picture to me because, like, I don't know, I just feel like when guys ask you to send pictures to them, it's just like ew, like, why do you want me to send a picture? But at the time I was just like, whatever, let me just send him a picture, because he said he wanted it for contact on his phone, but I didn't want to ask him because I didn't want it to seem like I cared that much. So anyways, he was like, yeah, I'm currently, you know, I went home to visit my mom this weekend. When I get back from visiting my mom or whatever, like, we should link up, we should hang out. So I was like, okay, cool. So he got back in town that same day, I believe, because I believe I hit him up like early in the day. It had to be like around like the early afternoon. So like by that evening he was at home or whatever, which I really think that he came home just to hang out with me and ruin my life. But it's like, no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so he had came home or whatever, back to college campus or whatever. It was a lot going on at the time, y'all. Like, I was a freshman in college. I just got broken up with. I was a desperate Debbie. This man asked me for his number, and as far as I was concerned, he looked alright and he was taller than me, so cool. Okay, all right, we good. Okay, and mind you, at the time I had a roommate who happened to be my teammate, who happened to be somebody that I didn't like too much. So I didn't like to be around her too much. So I would use any excuse not to be in my room. Okay, so this was the perfect excuse not to be in the room and have to stare at her, because she was that roommate who never left the room. She was always in the room. Okay, so it was too much tension in the air up in there. So I never liked to stay there. So girl, he invites me over to his house that same night or whatever, and he lives in student housing, but he lived in an apartment, so he had his own room with a door in between him and his roommate. He had two other roommates, but each of them had their own room and their own bathroom or whatever. So I was like, I'll take anything to get out of this dorm room and, you know, get out of this environment right now. So I'm gonna go over there with him or whatever. So I went over to his house or whatever. He called himself cooking. I don't even think he cooked. No, he didn't cook. He was like, he actually, let me rewind, y'all. He asked me to come over to watch movies, basically to Netflix and chill. But at the time, you know, I was a youngin' or whatever, and I ain't never heard of no Netflix and chill before. And to me, well, I heard of Netflix and chill, but I didn't like think of it as nothing like, you know what I'm saying. So I just thought it was literally like we watching Netflix and chilling or whatever. So went over to his house or whatever, and get there in the living room. There is no TV in the living room. Okay, so I'm thinking when I get there, like, how we about to Netflix and chill and you ain't got no TV? But yeah, so anyways, y'all, ooh, child, I tell you. So yeah, so he was like, oh, I got the TV back in my room or whatever, you know, classic BS. So we go back to his room or whatever. He got one of them TVs. I don't know, y'all know these TVs that like everybody mama used to have back in the day, everybody parents used to have back in the day. Like them big old TVs that like sit on the floor. Like them big old TVs with a big old speaker at the bottom that it sits on the floor or whatever. He had one of them TVs. It ain't nowhere in the world you could watch no Netflix on that type of TV, okay? So make a long story short, we ended up watching like First 48 or something. We was just chilling, talking or whatever. So since that day, me and him was inseparable, okay? Like we was together after that day, because you know I got that type of vibe, you know, make you want to wipe me up, you know what I'm talking about? You know, not to toot my own horn or whatever, but you know, girl, since that day me and him was booed up. Like that was my man's, I was his girl, so on and so forth, whatever. So that was like, I believe that was like by the end of August, because no, I'm gonna give September. That was like September, okay? So I had just gotten dumped in August and I had a new man by September, okay? Like I wasn't playing no games, okay? So mind you, you know, from us dating, I come to find out that, well, I found this out the first night, but you know, I was 18. I found out he was a little older than me. He was 23 or whatever, which is only 5 years. But at the time when like you fresh out of high school and you 18, like dating somebody that's 23, that seemed like you kind of dating like an old man low key, because you used to dating guys who are like your age. My ex was the same age as me. So, you know, he was a little older guy, so I felt like I was like, you know, doing something because I felt like he had some sense or, you know, whatever, because he was older. So anyways, so we was vibing or whatever, and I would say like I was distracted. Okay, I was so distracted. Like I said, I was on the basketball team. Being a student athlete in college is a full-time job. Okay, that is a full-time job. Okay, between going to class, okay, which it was like we had to go because they had people spying on us to make sure we was in class, okay? And then not to mention we had this basketball that we had to carry around with us 24/7. Anyways, that's a story for another day. But you know, we had like shoot around, we had practice, we had like open gym, like we had so much stuff we had to do. Like it was really like a full-time job, which it was fun. I'm not gonna lie, it was fun. It was fun. I'm not gonna knock that, but it was a lot to be doing when you're trying to, you know, be grown and have a man and stuff. So, make a long story short, you remember how I told y'all I did not like my roommate, and she did not like me either. So I did not want to be in a room with her. So, you know, basically I moved in with him. I ain't technically moved in, but I was literally always at his apartment with him because that was my man now, and I don't want to stay in my dorm room. So it was what it was. So I was literally at his house like every day. Like when I wasn't on my campus, I was like never at my school unless I was going to class or unless I was at practice, okay? Like I was never on my campus other than that. Like I'll go to practice, I'll go to class, and then I'll get right in my car and I'll go drive right down the street and go to his campus and hang out with him or whatever. So I was never at school. The only time like I would go to my campus is like if I was about to like go out and I needed to like get dressed and get some clothes, or if I was doing my hair. That's the only time I'll be in my dorm room, when I was doing my hair. And I know I used to get on my roommate nerves too when I would be in there doing my hair. So yeah, we was like cooling or whatever, like, you know, your typical relationship, young and dumb relationship at the time or whatever. And I was so distracted, okay? I was so distracted. Basketball season starts around like November or whatever, and about 4 games into basketball season I tore my ACL, so that took me out for the rest of the season. So I didn't even make it into 2015, you know, playing basketball. Like at the end of the year I was out. Like you know, it was nothing that I could do but get surgery and get my life together. So being that I tore my ACL and I couldn't really play, and all I could do was just go to rehab and stuff and physical therapy and all that stuff to get my knee back together, I wasn't required to do a lot of the things I used to have to do. So I had a little bit more free time, okay? And you know, when you young, you got a man, you got a lot of free time. What be going on, okay? So, and I'm not condoning any of this. I'm not condoning this. This is something for you guys to learn from, okay? Learn from my mistakes. But anyways, so I had a lot of free time because I tore my ACL and I didn't have to go to away games. I could stay, you know, when my teammates and all of them would have to go to away games, I didn't have to go. Like when I didn't have to like get my mind right for practice because I didn't have to practice. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have to go to the shooting rounds because I couldn't shoot around because I had a big thing on my leg. So yeah, so I was just chilling basically at his house all the time or whatever. So you know how that goes or whatever. So after going a whole entire basketball season that I'm not able to play, and then on top of that, you know, I'm just so consumed with having a boyfriend and not paying attention to anything else or anyone else of that matter. So the school year ends or whatever. school was alright, you know what I'm saying? And I do want to throw in there that my grades was not the best because I was very much distracted and I had too much freedom, and yeah, so my grades was not looking the best, okay? Like, I was literally doing the bare minimum to survive, okay? So long story short, you know, the spring semester is over, so now I'm officially a sophomore, whatever, turn up. So when you play sports or whatever, I don't know about other sports, but specifically college basketball, you have to go to summer school. So I get like a little 1 to 2 week break or whatever after school gets out, and then I'm right back at school for summer school. So came back to school for summer school, and mind you, him at the time, he was in school, but he would never go to class, okay? Like, from the day that when I met him, he was going to class, but that was because school had just started. But after like 2 months into us dating, he would never, ever go to class, okay? So make a long story short, he ended up not going to school no more. He ended up just getting a job, but he was still living in student houses or whatever, but he just had him a job or whatever that he would go to. So, you know, I'm thinking, you know, we grown or whatever because he worked, you know, he got a job or whatever, he got a car, he got his own place or whatever. So I'm thinking we real grown or whatever. So I'm in summer school now, and summer school is not as hectic as the school year is. And, you know, plus I'm still going through physical therapy, but of course my leg is getting a lot better now. So, you know, I'm good to go. So, you know, it's still like, I still got a lot of freedom or whatever, but I still got stuff to do in summer school. But he was still there because he was still, so no, actually what happened was, like, right when school got out, he actually got offered a job in my hometown or whatever, and like the town that when I would go home on winter break and stuff, like where I would go home to, he ended up getting a job there, so he actually moved to my hometown. So actually I was in summer school alone, like he wasn't there with me. Granted, like he would come visit me, I would go visit him, because I would just go home on the weekends, on most weekends anyways. So it wasn't like we was too far away from each other. It was only like a 3-hour drive away, so it wasn't really nothing for real. So June got here, and you know, I started feeling a little funny, you know what I'm saying? Like I started feeling a little weird. So I took it upon myself to, you know, take me a little pregnancy test or whatever, and thank God I was not pregnant. That's what I was thinking in my head, because I was not pregnant at that time or whatever. But then, so the next month rolled around, and it was like, not Mother Nature not showing up to her appointment. Like, she totally was a no-show to her appointment. Okay, she just never showed up. She ain't calling nothing and said she won't come no more nothing. She just did not come at all. So I was like, Lord, like I ain't never missed no appointment with Mother Nature now. So mind you, the month before I had took me a pregnancy test. You know how most pregnancy tests come with 2 in the box, so I still had the other one. So I went and got the other one, and I was like, damn. I couldn't even be mad. I couldn't even be mad, because I was not doing anything to like prevent it from happening. Not saying that I wanted to have a kid, but I wasn't doing nothing to not make it happen. So at the time, the day that I found out, I remember this day like it was yesterday. I was back at home or whatever, because we had just got out of summer school. So I was back at home for like a few weeks before school started up again, my sophomore year of college. Well, we was going to this festival the next day. So the night before, I don't know why, like I was just feeling real bougie, so I wanted to take a bath. So I had peed on the little pregnancy stick or whatever and put it face down on a counter, and then I got in the bathtub and I was just sitting there. Literally, when I was in the bathtub, y'all, I was looking up like student athletes who get pregnant. What happens when student athletes get pregnant? Can they still stay in school? What happens? Can they get kicked out of school if they get pregnant as a student athlete? Like, I was Googling all types of stuff, okay? Because I was like, Lord, I don't know what's about to happen. I don't know what's about to happen. My baby daddy walks in the bathroom, right? And I'm like, can you, you know, check that thing on the counter, see what it say? I'm scared to look at it. So of course, you already know what the results are, okay? You know, my daughter is a living testimony, okay? I already know what the results are. So, and it wasn't even like, we wasn't excited, but we wasn't like upset either, because we both knew like what was going on. So we both was just like sitting there like, yeah, it just got real. The next day, me and him and my friend had went to this festival that was downtown or whatever, and like the whole time we was at the festival, I was just like, I cannot believe I got a whole baby in my stomach right now. Like, I was more so like shocked than anything. Like, I wasn't sad, I wasn't upset, because like I said, like, I knew it was bound to happen, but like my dumb behind wasn't doing anything to prevent it. I thought that, honestly, I thought I was invincible, because I was like, if it ain't happened by now, it's not gonna happen, so I'm not really worried about that or whatever. So I was just like, I was just more so in shock. Like, it was taking me a while to like wrap my mind around it, because I feel like around this time I really was not like, I had like no emotion. Like, I was just like I was just like trying to grasp everything, because it was just like I had a lot going on, y'all. Like I said, I was a student athlete, okay? I had to be back to school the next week, because by this time I was home for my first week. After the next week, I had to be back at school, and mind you, I had tore my ACL, and I was supposed to be like healed like a good like month into when school started. So like a month after school started back up, I should have been able to like start playing again, because I just started like running and stuff and physical therapy. So, you know, like I was about to be like back, you know, ready to go. And it was just like, it's not like, you know, I was the type of player who really didn't, you know, get no playing time or whatever. So like my coaches were waiting on me to come back and, you know, pick up where we left off and join the team back and be able to play and stuff again and contribute. But I had a lot going on or whatever. But, you know, like at the time, it was just like I had him in my ear, and then I was being desperate Debbie, and then like I was just overwhelmed with how much work, you know, like being a student athlete was, because it's totally different from playing sports in high school and play AAU. It's different than going to college, because it's like your parents not there, so it's not like no cutoff. It's no cutoff. Like when you leave this game, now you back to your regular life. It's like, you know, basketball is life when you're like a college athlete, like 24/7. That's like that's your job. Like that's your main priority. Like everything else revolves around that. So having the culture shock of that as well, it kind of had me feeling like, and then plus I wasn't doing well in school either. And mind you, I didn't even say this before, but I had changed my major like 2 times. Okay, like I think I changed it like 3 times. Like first I was undecided, then I had changed it to to a business degree, then I had changed it to like a fashion merchandising degree, and that was the last place I had stopped off at. Like I just kept changing my major, because when I was in college, I wasn't like, you know, a lot of people wanted to be like, you know, a physical therapist and like a doctor and things like that, but I didn't know what I wanted to be, because nothing sounded intriguing to me. Like I thought college was fun, you know, like it was something that you just look at a long list like of fun stuff to do, and you just pick whatever fun stuff off the list you want to take classes for. That's what I thought. So I'm like, I'm gonna do fashion merchandising or whatever. So, you know, like I didn't even really know what I wanted to do anyways. Like I was like, what do I even want to do that I need a college degree for? I don't want to do none of this stuff. So on top of all that, when I found out I was pregnant, and then I had to be at school like a slim 7 days later, like them 7 days flew by. So it was like I had a lot to think about within that 7 days, because I did not know what was going to happen. Like I told y'all, I was Googling what happens, you know, because I'm convinced that I'm about to get kicked out of school or whatever, or I'm about to lose my scholarship because I'm pregnant. So I'm like trying to come to terms with the fact that I'm not going back to school, which I really didn't care, because in my by that time I was 19, y'all. I left that out too. So I had just turned 19 when all of this is happening. My birthday was at the end of July, and this was like literally like a week after I turned 19, that's when I found out I was pregnant, okay? Because I remember summer school ended on my birthday. Like the last day of summer school was on my birthday. So a week later, I found out I was pregnant. So I had just turned 19, and with my 19-year-old mind, okay, I was like, I got me a man. He got a job, and when he moved to my hometown, he got his own apartment. Okay, girl, he ain't had no roommates, okay? And to a 19-year-old who dating a soon-to-be 24-year-old, you like, you know, okay, big zaddy, you know, whatever. Because, you know, ain't one of them 19-year-old boys at the time had their own house, had their own place to stay in their own car, okay? So I just felt like I was just real grown or whatever, and I was just like, I got a man, he got his own place, we got a house and a home, we about to have a family, like, he got money or whatever. So like, what I need to go back to school for? Like, I'm about to be a whole wife. Boy, was I wrong. But it was a lot going on and a lot to figure out in a short amount of time, okay? Not to mention, I still have not even told my parents yet, okay? I have not told my parents yet. I have not told my basketball coach yet. I haven't told nobody but my man and my best friend, because we was hanging out, well, my best friend at the time, and we was hanging out that next day. So them was the only two people who knew, okay? So yeah, so I'm gonna stop right here, and it's gonna be a part 2 to this video, because this is a long story, okay? This is a long story, and I'm not the type to sum things up. So I'll see you guys in part 2. Give this video a thumbs up, like this video, comment on this video or whatever. And I mean, I don't have enough subscribers yet to be like, oh, run up the likes. I'm not gonna drop part 2 till I get enough likes or whatever, but I'm gonna drop part 2 for y'all. But in the meantime, run up this video or whatever, make it do what it do, and I'll see you guys in part 2.